I'm Ryan Milliken from Hardway Performance, and you're listening to the Diesel Power Podcast.
I'm Demetri Miller with No Zone Diesel.
This is Anthony Reams from XDP.
Jaron Holder from Holderdown Performance.
I'm Corey Willis with PPEI.
I'm Drew with D&J Precision Machine.
I'm Pinky.
And you're listening to the Diesel Power Podcast.
Diesel Power Podcast.
And you're listening to the Diesel Power Podcast.
The one and only Diesel Power Podcast.
It's awesome to have you back on the podcast, Dennis. We had a blast on all of our other ones, and we were chatting recently about being an entrepreneur, starting a business, some of the things that are difficult or hard to pick up, when you're just starting out, you're trying to learn and kind of find your way in the market. And we know you've been in business for a really long time. You've probably seen it all. You have the experience to be able to help a lot of people out there, not just in the diesel or the automotive industry, but anyone who starts a retail business, whether that's a storefront, a parts business, it could be a flower shop, could be really anything. And that's, parts suppliers, where you're getting your materials from, is something that's overlooked so much in the process of building a business. And what it can do is it can help you. It can keep materials and stocking orders and things like that flowing into your business or your storefront so you can make sales and service customers and grow. Or it can hinder it, in some ways. And we wanted to talk to you and get some of your perspectives, as a manufacturer, someone who is building a product and then, shipping it out to distribution centers or to customers all over the country.
It sounds good. Thanks for having me back on again, man. And as always, it'll be as fun as all the rest of them. This is a topic that you could probably talk about for days. I've done it for almost 20 years now. And no matter you have a business, you got to get a few things in line before starting the business for sure. So we'll see if I can help out a little and insight some of that.
And one of it wouldn't necessarily be the first thing to do when starting a business per se, as far as lining out the suppliers. But shortly thereafter, as a small business owner, or someone who's even been in business, for a little while, it's crucial because one of the biggest frustrations, I can attest to and I hear tons of stories about is, for example, you call into a place, you have a product question, you go to one department. If you have an accounting question, you go to another, tracking another, core returns another, getting the tracking information emailed to you, you go to another. If you have a problem, say ordering on the website, then you go to another department, and it can add so much time to a call. And meanwhile, all these other things are being thrown at you where time management becomes an issue. And, it's something that, through investigation and just putting in the time early on in your business can really help just as you grow it and just expand your customer base. And I know, Dennis, that you've had a ton of experience with that, and how that can help, your dealers, really any entrepreneur out there that's selling a product. But I wanted to touch on one thing in specific that we had discussed before the podcast, and that's pricing, or say what MAP pricing is, which for those who don't know what MAP pricing is, it is the allowed price you can, advertise a product for on your website, in a print ad, something like that, for a given product. So each company will have what their minimum, advertised price is. And so, Dennis, I'd love for you to talk to us about that, things you've gone through with your own company, the process you guys use to make sure that that's basically policed and enforced so that, your dealers basically have the information they need to represent your product, to sell the product where it needs to be sold, and how that all ties in together with building a successful business.
One of the most challenging things I guess we deal with, Patrick, is not necessarily pricing through to the distributor, because the distributor part of it, and you hit on that. Main thing is to find a distributor that you can talk to a person, or that gets them, and also one that becomes very reliable, and because you can get now to email. You can email your order over, but there's a downside to that you want to make sure that you're dealing with somebody that, follows up on an email. Because once it's sitting there, if it doesn't get processed and you're expecting it in a couple of days, So those are all things you can talk to a distributor with. There's some great ones out there. You got your 1014s, your XDPs, your MERS. One of our favorites is Thoroughbred. I love how they do things, even though customer, because they're online retail, and they are one of our best. The way it all kind of starts out is, we will see. Manufacturers are always working with distributors. Okay, if you take X amount of dollars on this one particular order, they might want 10 extra points. So, that, and then the distributor goes through, and then that allows them to set up their pricing to their dealers. And then it goes, to the dealer. The dealer can call, and they can get them themselves a price break, by saying, in that case, taking 5, 10 items, where the distributor probably negotiated 100 to 1,000 items. So then a distributor invests a lot of money, which helps keep the price down to the end user. That's everybody's goal, is how inexpensive can we get it to the buyer and make money. I mean, anybody that gets in business and thinks it's not all about the money. Well, it's not all about money. Train with it. I didn't. You kind of have to learn prior to going in. Because we get a lot of phone calls here, and we will not tell a customer that they cannot buy here. And the only reason that we won't tell them that is because if a guy's just starting out, he calls, I think it makes it sound like, well, you're not going to buy here. That customer, what we'll do is we have a dealer price. You buy a little bit, you can be a dealer, and we will also tell you, we will get you this price, but have you looked at distributors? If the answer is no, then we will give them some distributors' names and be like, why don't you call there? And then you can call right back here for all your tech. We answer the phones. You're going to a person. A lot of times our sales and tech are the same people. So, but we go through a little bit extra process to make sure that the new guy in the area that's getting started don't get treated like, we don't think he's valuable, to become valuable. And, if he builds his business up one day and wants to put in them large orders and get those big discounts, he'll be able to. It's just the biggest question we get is like, well, how come they can sell it cheap then you can sell it to me? Well, I mean, they probably put in $100 order so that you could put in $1,000 order. So, that's a way is, helping educate the new guy.
What's really key that you just mentioned was, when somebody calls in, they want to purchase your product, is how willing you guys are to work with that person and want to make them successful. And it almost might seem like a foregone conclusion in sales or in distribution, but there are some places and some instances where it's hard to give a place your money. And you sit there, you can be frustrated, and you think to yourself, well, my money's still green too, like, why can't I do it? And that first time that hits as a business owner, you have to almost kind of know how to handle it and go to a plan B, C, D, E, all the way down to figure that out. So I think it's really cool that you guys put that at the forefront. You want to make sure that people who do business with you, whether directly or indirectly through a distributor, have that same sort of feeling that you want their business or repeat business. You want to help them grow, as a company and be successful.
That's our first line, there. And then after we kind of get that, if the guy wants to, and to be honest with you, sometimes the guy goes, you know what, just at least right now, I'm going to buy through you because, they can talk to us, we build it. And so we'll coach them through a few things and help them. And then, and as soon as they get to talking about price, they want to be in a category that we won't put them in, but again, we'll have that conversation with them again. We're like, hey, why don't you let us hook you up with a distributor? We'll get you the number. I'll call them for you. I'll have them call you because trust me, to them buying large quantities, so you don't have to right now. And, so that's where the distributors, are really good. And most all distributors out there, we don't get any complaints on. They help us with MAP. They enforce MAP. There's only one that doesn't enforce MAP, and we don't sell to them anymore. So, that's the start of it. And then the next thing, as you kind of hit on, is when a guy starts a business. Most of the time, and this is the way it is in diesel industry, and I'm not sure other industries, but you usually got one guy in the group that he's just eat up with diesels. So he learns, he reads, he does to his truck. Well, next thing you know, his buddies are like, hey, can you get me one of them? And the next thing you know, all the buddies are doing it. He's the go-to guy in that community, and he originally just was enthusiastic on his truck. Well, and there's nothing wrong with that, but I guarantee you the guy never stopped and took time to come up with what's his time worth. He's like, man, I can get it for this, and I don't know, man, give me $20 extra. Well, it might be an item that he should be making $100 extra on, because there's a lot of tech that'll go into it. There's a whole nother scenario that he is getting ready to put himself in. So the first thing he's going to want to do is figure out what percentage you need to pay your bills, no matter where you're doing it, and make some money. You've got to put some money in your pocket, or it'll be the worst avenue you've ever traveled. If you're doing all this work, you're working all, after hours, you're staying up late, and the next thing you know, you don't have any extra money, but you're doing all this extra free work. Well, that could easily turn into we lose a dealer, to the industry, not just to us. That was a good, a good enthusiastic person. It's just he got projected into what all of his buddies are like, you should start a business, you should start a business. I mean, I think everybody should start a business, but that's just me. But there's a lot more that goes into it than just, hey, you're good at this, you start a business. Well, some people, maybe you should go work in that industry for somebody and learn that industry would be a good first step.
And two things that really get tied together for the consumer, the truck owner, and then also the dealer network, is MAP and profitability. Now, MAP is, say you go on a manufacturer's website, you see the product listed for a set amount, and then you go online and you search the part number and you find all these online places and dealers, and they all have it for a little bit less. Basically, that price is what the manufacturer allows their dealers to discount it to and advertise it for.
Mm-hmm.
And the industry as a whole, there's certain companies that are very strict with that.
Right.
Where if you don't sell the product for what they allow, the consumer has no warranty. And they ask for receipts. If a warranty pops up, they want to see where you bought it from, what you paid for it. If it's below that amount and that person is not a dealer or does not have a resale license, there's no warranty, and they're basically out of luck.
Yeah.
And it also ties into, the people who are just starting out as an entrepreneur, or have, their business is young and they're starting to grow it, is that profitability. Because the major problem is going online and you'll find these third-party websites. So they're not necessarily companies that are well-known in that particular industry, but they'll be selling products below MAP. Almost so low that it's either at cost or sometimes below people's cost. And it just creates this really ugly situation where you have a dealer network that's frustrated that this is out there. And then you also have customers that are frustrated because they buy this product, save a little bit of money, and then have no warranty on something that costs, $200 to $10,000. And I wanted to get your perspective, Dennis, on what you guys have seen and ways that you're able to try to combat this sort of trend or maybe it's not even a trend, but just combat this situation that's approaching not just on the diesel industry, but also probably on the gas world as well?
Well, first thing we will try to do is find out where they got it. Because if they got it from here, they probably already got a speech, But, those third-party sites, here's where our hands get tied as a manufacturer is that we can't get nothing done. The only thing we can try to do at that point is find out the source of where they got it. And, that can be done. I've bought my own product at below map pricing to find out where it was being dropped from, to find out who, when, where, why, and how. And once I can narrow that down, then I can contact who they did get it from that we more than likely sold it to. And once we do that, we'll make a phone call, and we expect immediate action on that. Or the next time that they call, they're going to get a price increase, because I can't have you doing that. And I mean, some of this seems extreme, a little more extreme now than like, hey, you need to quit that, because that don't work. The next go around, they'll get it up, then when you're not looking, it's back down below again. And that's a struggle from our manufacturing is, like if you bought that product that's below map and we were aware of it, we put you on a do not sell list. Well, and from that point on, until you are removed from the do not sell list, everything you sell has no warranty. We will not warranty, because you have to send your receipt, you buy it, then you've got a lifetime warranty. So if you bought it legit from a dealer that's following all the rules, you got a lifetime warranty. You bought it below map, and it's on your receipt, we merely box it back up, and this is what normally we will cover shipping going back to the customer on any warranty item. That's when we call you and get your credit card so you can be to have your product shipped back to you, because we don't touch it.
And that's something really cool that you guys are doing, because from a consumer perspective, say you're sitting back listening to this podcast and you go, well, I don't care about this map talk, and if a dealer's on a do not sell list, I already got my product. I saved $10, $100, $200, whatever it is. But when you purchase that and then you call for help, or you need a warranty, or you need tech help, or whatever it is, and you don't get it, it does happen. I've seen it happen a lot where, it's just, it's unfortunate for them, but also there are rules of it. And, if someone's going to sell it below what everyone else is, and there's no like national sale going on or anything like that, that's a side effect of it. And you're just kind of out of luck on it.
And, and I guess it does in a way, there's a double-edged sword. It might make that consumer upset. Well, he needs to be upset, or he or she needs to be upset, but they need to be upset at the problem. It was the dealer that they trusted and bought from them, because the dealer knew what they were doing. They knew it was below map. So they need to get mad at the right people. And, that's when they can go on social media blast and everything else, but we will not do anything about it. And you want it back now, you're more than welcome. We'll need your credit card number for shipping, and how would you like it shipped back to? So, there's things like that we can do, and that we do. And like a dealer of ours, if they get put on a sale list for map violation, your first time's 30 days. We don't bend on that, because we want you to know that we're serious. And then, I'm going to brag on Turn 14, because they have this software that we can go in and move people to the do not sell list. And if you're on their do not sell list, it will not even let the salesman type up the order, because you're on the do not sell list. And I may be missing a few, aspects of that, but they will process the order. So therefore, they have to call the guy back and be like, you're on a do not sell list for this product. So you need to call the manufacturer and see about getting off of it. And when we actually get a chance to talk to the guy, and of course, the typical, well, such and such has it for that too, blah, blah, blah. more than likely we're aware of that. But right now, we're dealing with you. And you lowered your price because this guy lowered his price. Well, that's 2 people on the do not sell list now. So, and like I said, some of it seems a little harsh, but we have to, it's gotten to where we have to do that. And, another thing that I do hate on like that discussion we was on the other day is most of the time when that happens, the manufacturer takes the heat. And that's not fair. Because our deal technically is with the distributor. And we've negotiated our deal with them, and then if they've negotiated their deal with their dealer, well, the dealer's where everything goes wrong. So, people need to practice on being a good dealer. Follow the rules. You got to make money. Every product out there is priced for you to make some money because we want you to make money. And if you're not making money, it goes back to the last, a little bit earlier in our conversation, when if you're not making money, you're going to get bored without making money and you're spending money. If none of it gets to go to you or anything else that to get a reward for what you're doing. So, we want you to make money. And then, we end up taking the heat. Because, well, why don't you do something about it? Well, to be honest with you, we are trying. But just so you know, I didn't make any less money on it. I took the least cut. So, and then I did that by selling volume. And then they sold it to a dealer at theirs. Everybody's got a tier price. Every distributor has tier price. Well, however they got their deal, they're having a sale. Well, the first thing, the dealer is where it starts to go bad. So the dealer goes, well, this guy's got it for $299. I'm going to do $295. Well, $299 is probably MAP. So now this guy's, I know it's only $4, but it is below. Well, then that other dealer, if he chooses not to call or turn that dealer in because he's seen it, then he's like, well, I'm going to go $290. And next thing you know, it's the typical race to the bottom. Well, in that time frame, I didn't sell that product to that dealer, but I do back up my product through an authorized distributor. Well, the distributor didn't have that dealer do that. So now we have to find the dealer, tell the distributor he's on do not sell list for 30 days. Then that's when we get a call from the dealer. Well, I didn't know such and such, he's doing it too. Blah, that's when they want to spill their guts. Well, they get 30 days, and we're like, don't do it again, because the next time you do it, you don't come off the do not sell list. We do not want a dealer like that. But now stop and let's look at this as a whole. All right. We're the manufacturer, but I ended up having to deal with the guy causing the problem, which was that bought it from a distributor. Now the distributor's backing us up on what we, and I'm also trying to manufacture product, build product, and yes, we have people doing that and people looking for it. But you took time out of our day to go catch you doing something wrong. And that's the part that makes us have no sympathy for it anymore at all. I mean, like when I first got started, the internet was just getting going. Forums were just starting to pop up. Well, it was a little easier because I sold everything at retail out of my retail shop. I didn't care about MAP. If you walked in my shop, I sold at retail. But with retail, if you had a problem with the product, I'd be behind you. If I had to get you in there, no matter what I had to do, and then I dealt with my distributor and getting my money back on stuff, on the back side of things. I've concentrated on making the customer happy, but by selling retail, I had a lot more to play with. I'm not interested in how little I can make. If that product sold at $5.95, that's what I priced it at. And I had to charge them tax because I'm supposed to. So that comes around. I know a lot of these guys are like, well, I seen it on Amazon for $239. Well, cost might be more than that. Or You see what I'm getting at? I mean, if somebody found it on Amazon and it's below MAP, tell them to go buy it. They don't have no warranty. You're not going to have to take care of it, because if the guy buys it from you, you have an obligation to take care of it. If he buys it from somewhere else and has problems, why would you waste your time on the guy that went and bought it somewhere else going to ask you questions?
That happens all the time, like from day to day, week to week, month to month. It's just, in an email or a call or something, someone will reach out and they bought this product on a third-party place, and now they can't get in touch with them, or they're not getting the responses that they need, and they want technical help, or they want to know how to install it, and there's nothing we can really do to help them other than telling them like who to call, at the manufacturer level or someplace like that, and it's tough.
Well, and that would be probably typically you would get a lot more of that than I would, because if you sell a product, they're like, "I'll call him, he'll help you." Well, you didn't sell him nothing. You don't even know, and technically, even if you know about whatever product they're talking about, do you want to get involved in that for free? You're not new at business. If you start helping the guy, not that you don't want to help him, but it's like, man, if I start this, you're going to be calling me every day, and you haven't bought anything. That's what keeps your phone on, your doors open, your bills paid, taxes paid. That, making some money is what keeps that going. And, if you don't make any on it, then then you're making a bad call.
I really like how you guys have this process in place to protect the integrity of the product, because you guys as a manufacturer, and all the manufacturers out there, you guys aren't the guardians of the internet and can't be everywhere and see everything that's out there, but it's refreshing to know as a dealer that there's a process in place to get things like those fixed, which they could be completely unintentional mistakes. Like, say a price change happens and they didn't get the memo or the email or whatever it might be, but you guys can tell, what the old prices were, what they are now. They just don't have an updated price sheet, or they could have, entered the last digit wrong on the back end of their website and it's off by, however much, or it could be intentional. But, that's what's really the key to protecting this, and making sure that these companies you work with know they have support on that level, because it's so frustrating when you spend tons of money to market a product of a manufacturer to the world, and then you're able to go online and find it for less. I mean, that gets incredibly frustrating.
Right, and that's key right there. Is okay, and let's say you find that. We want that phone call from you, because let's say the guy he goes through, he's like, no, I got everything at MAP, and we're like, well, go get this part number right here. There is times that he's made a mistake, so therefore that's at our discretion. If we believe if he's got everything else at MAP and he's got one that he made a mistake on, we're not going to hinder the guy. Honest mistakes happen. We're not going to get you for that. It's the blatant people that take money out of, like you hit on something, that you invest money for a sale. I think we talked about this a little the other day. You invest money advertising for sale, but you don't get any discount off of it. You have to take it off your end. Well, what we do is, if you call in and you want to have a sale, well, okay, what are you thinking? All right, well, how much do you think you could sell, and go and do all that? And we're like, okay, you order this much, I'll give you an additional 10 points off. And then you can pass your 10 points on to your customer. So, and we do that a little different than everybody else. Is we don't tell you what kind of sale to have. Like, oh, TS says they're having a Memorial Day sale, and everybody gets to take off 10%. We encourage the dealers, distributors to come up with their own ideas, and we keep them quiet. We're like, well, when they announce it, it's coming out. Now, we do get some phone calls that are like, hey, such and such has it below MAP. Yeah, they got permission. We know they did. Well, how come we didn't get to do it? Well, you could have. You could come up with your own sale. We just approved the sale is all it is. So, I'm friends with a lot of manufacturers, and this is a problem that we all deal with. And, there's some out there, which our products are small and, they're different priced than some of these other ones, but that, like you said, if you sell it below this, you have no warranty. Well, on some of these products, there's a very good chance you could need a warranty. And, if you've dropped $8-9 grand on something, I'd highly recommend, following the right path.
And that's exactly right as an entrepreneur, because you never want the call when you sold, a $10,000 build or setup or whatever it might be, and the customer had a problem, called the manufacturer, got a copy of the receipt, it was sold, below map, and now they have no warranty. Like, whatever you would have made on that sale, it's not worth it the moment the consumer calls. They're going to be pissed, and they have every right to be pissed, because they don't need to understand map. They don't need to know really about that. It's up to the dealer to educate them and say, no, I can't discount this because this is what will happen, and we need to protect your investment. So it's not on them. It's on the selling dealer to educate the truck owner or any consumer out there on the particular rules of that part, so they never ever get in that situation. I would never want to be on that call at all.
Exactly. And well, you've got two choices there. You can try to explain that to the customer, which he's not going to understand because he spent his money with you. Or you can take it out of your pocket, which most people in that particular situation maybe can't, either can't do it or won't do it. Well, now you got a lawsuit. So all of this could have just been prevented by selling the product like it was supposed to be sold. And guess what? You'd have warranty, you wouldn't be in a lawsuit, you'd have a customer, because he's already upset because his $10,000 item is messing up. So everything you compound on that is just going to get them irate, more and more and more irate. So, but yes, that's... But everything is in the works. So, if people are going to start a business, I recommend call around. Like, you can call us, you can get literature, and you can do this with every manufacturer. Learn the product. If you're going to sell it, learn it. Don't go off of Facebook. Don't, physically talk to the people, because I see so much BS on Facebook, and half the time, as long as it ain't on the TS page, I use Facebook for my entertainment. I've got buddies, we go on there and goof off. We say stuff that's not true. We're not running people down, but, we're just cutting and goofing off. It's on my personal page. We're having a blast with it. We're using social media as entertainment. But now on the TS page, everything there's, will be legit products, everything else. But, I can't emphasize enough, just take time if you're going to do a business and do some homework. If you're already in business, before you start selling something, at least learn the product. And this is my method, always has been, and I've done it for years. New product, like when we're developing a new product, I go buy a new truck. And that's how we learn the truck. The electronics, the injectors. Some have your regular Bosch injectors. Some's got piezos. Everything there's handled differently on how we build the boards. We have to know the ins and outs, because ultimately, if there's problems, we're going to get the call, and we can't tell that guy that just bought an $80,000 truck, or now I guess they're up in the 90s. We don't know, man. So what we have to do, we need to be able to answer this quick for this guy. So we will actually go, I tell you what, man, we don't know what's going on. It is a new product release. Send that back in here, and I'm going to take your unit and put it on our truck and duplicate, try to duplicate what you have going on. So then, like Randy or one of the guys here, they'll drive it for a few days and try to get it to duplicate it. And most of the time, it's something simple. A wire's popped out of the harness. Sometimes you can burn a fed up on the board. It's always something simple and fixable. But if we didn't have that truck here, it would have took us a lot longer to find that problem. So, that's a good tool we use, is just having the trucks. So, I mean, even if you're going to be, and the reason I got into that was for this reason. If you're going to sell products, start a business, I mean, work on getting you a nice-looking diesel truck, but then work on putting the products you sell on your truck, so that if there is a quirk, or there is, let's just say people might not like it, but everybody's does it, well, it might be something that there's a reason that it does it, but learn that, so that when the customer comes into you, you're like, yes, that's done, and I called them already on that, and this is why it does it. Be educated. And if you're dealing with companies that'll stand behind you, your education comes pretty quick.
That's so true. Like, when I was just thinking back to, say like a 3rd gen 6.7 Cummins I had, and, with the 68 RFE, when it's stock, it does a few, things with torque converter shutter, given a few conditions at, certain speed, and sometimes someone will call me and they'll say, man, I've called around everywhere, and my truck does this at this certain time. I think I need a transmission. And I've been through that. I've had that happen. I know what it is, what's going on. And you can tell them, and then they feel more comfortable, like, okay, now I'm talking to someone who's had this, same problem happen, or on a Duramax or PowerStroke or any of the trucks out there. And, it may not necessarily need to be like a, brand new F-250 Platinum that this business owner needs to get. It really depends on the niche and what they're focusing on. If they're, specific to 6-liter Fords, get a 6-liter Ford. If it's for 6.4s or 6.7 Cummins or an LML or 12 valve or whatever it might be, is, get it, modify it, fix things that break on it, test different products out, know how they react, so that when you get these customers and these calls, because they're going to call you,
yeah,
when they see this stuff on your social media page and on your website and all those other things, that you have that knowledge to be able to explain to them and make them feel comfortable in the knowledge that you have, to select the right products or to fix a problem.
Yep. And even if you're a Dodge guy or a Cummins guy, I don't think anybody's a Dodge guy, but even if you're whatever brand it is, and you've learned the brand that you're driving, and you get to you add a box and it made the transmission do some goofy stuff for a little while. Well, maybe it's a relearn process. But if it's happened on your truck, you're still going to be able to understand it when you make a call to the manufacturer or tech line of, okay, my Dodge did this. Is the Power Stroke along the same lines? You're half educated on it, and you understand that adding a module can change shift points, can do a lot of different things. So you're already aware of it when you call. So your call's off quicker.
This even transcends into other industries. Like, one of my main passions, something I love, are guns. Love to collect them, love to shoot them.
Oh, I love some guns.
It's like when I go into the local gun store, it's like Cheers. Like, everybody knows my name when I go in there, but I tend to gravitate towards a couple different brands or platforms.
Yeah.
So when I go in there, I know exactly, what part of the case has these types of pistols or where these certain type of rifles are up on the wall. But if I was going to own a gun store, I would have to know about all the brands, because you never know who's coming through that door. They might be into revolvers or lever guns or bolt guns or shotguns, or, they might like AKs or ARs or whatever it might be. And you need to be familiar with all of them to be able to sell and be successful, in that line of business.
Yeah, especially if you want to sell it. So, I mean, with any business, a good case of OCD and chill out on the medicine for a little while, you'll learn stuff quickly.
You had some awesome lessons for us, Dennis, and we definitely want to talk to you again in the future about building a business and things that transcend any sort of industry someone may be in. Because one of the things I have learned in being, in the diesel community for so long, is a lot of diesel owners are their own boss.
Mm-hmm.
Whether that's in agriculture, industrial, oil, natural gas, basically anything, transportation. And there's things that they're just lessons that transcend everything. And we know that you have a ton of knowledge in it. You've been there, done that. You've grown your company into a huge, player in a well-respected company. And so we definitely want to, talk to you more and get some more lessons and try to help some people out there. Maybe inspire them, to start their own business. I really think, though, that these talks and the lessons, that you can share with us, it's really going to inspire someone out there, maybe turn a light bulb on to think about it, to be self-employed.
Oh, I always tell everybody, I don't know exactly what to do sometimes, but I can give you 18 years of what not to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
and I think it's going to help people, and who knows, maybe inspire someone to go, start their own business and be self-employed and, be able to create something.
I love being self-employed. For one reason, I'm not very employable, so it's a good thing. But I absolutely, love the diesel industry, met great people. I think some of this, I've met people in all different industries, but I really think that some of the smartest, most knowledgeable people are in the diesel industry. And I just absolutely love it. And I do want to, if I can help pass it on to a guy or help a guy out, I don't mind it at all.